Good evening, everyone. My name is Federico Berman, and today I want to talk about why teenagers should start building their own startups, and just as importantly, why adults should start believing and supporting that process. Now, you might be wondering what a high school student is doing here standing talking about startups. Don't worry, I asked myself the same thing. Truth is, I'm not here because I've made it. And I'm not here to say that every teenager should become an entrepreneur. I'm here because I started building things early, and it completely changed the way I think, the way I learn, and the way I see the world around me. When I was around 13 years of age, I felt like school wasn't enough for the future I imagined for myself. Not because school is bad, don't get me wrong. School is great. School is important. It teaches you how to think, how to analyze, how to learn. But I just felt like something was missing. So one day, I went up to my dad and asked, I want to learn about business, but I don't feel like school is teaching me this yet. How can I learn? To what my dad gave a very simple yet powerful advice. If you want to learn business, build one. The best way to learn about business is by building a business. And so did the businesses begin. My first business was a digital marketing agency. And yes, the logo is indeed my face. Why, you might ask? I have no idea. Anyways, moving on. This seemed very simple at a first glance. You just help the business boost their social media presence, and you help them boost their conversion in their ads. But in reality, it taught me my first real lesson about responsibility. I learned that communication is more important than people think. And I learned that many times the fastest way to get things wrong is by saying yes to everything. Most importantly, out of all, I learned how businesses work when people, money, and responsibility are involved. That business didn't amount to much, but it taught me much about how everything worked, which led me to my second business, a high-end fashion reselling brand. And high-end, we're talking $400 t-shirts high-end. The lesson I learned here could be kind of obvious, that before going for the whole market, you should know who your ideal customer is. That persona that will undoubtedly say yes to your offer. And once you find that persona, you should look for the traits that that persona has and see where you can find that in a wider demographic group, and that will be your target audience. Because it's not every day that you see somebody spending $400 on a t-shirt. But the biggest thing I took from all of this is a learning in myself. I learned that I didn't really like physical businesses, and that I was eager to try something new, something digital. And so did my third business begin, a mobile app. Now, this is where things got much harder, confusing, and longer. This beauty right here is called Picto, and this was my first big project, a startup itself. Picto is a community-driven platform that lets users learn practical skills through user-generated mini courses. Now, when the idealizing part was done, we had to get developers to code this app. Once we got the developers, they estimated that it would take around 3 months to finish. The app ended up taking 13. Here, I learned what it feels like to have your trust broken, and I learned that not everybody takes teenagers seriously in this world. At one point, these developers scammed me and my family out of my dad's credit card, which was being used to run the servers. They stole a pricey amount of money and left us with no hard evidence as to back it up. And that was the moment I realized that this was getting real. Me and my dad had to stay up for 7 hours. We went to sleep at 4 a.m. trying to disconnect everything that could have made this worse. I was only 14. But fast forward 800 days, Paisero is now up and running and has been developed by a new and more honest team. I never gave up, and if there's one thing that I took from this, is that you should be very careful in the team you build. But really, progress happens when you put resilience and passion into something. All of these lessons accounted for something bigger, something called Toby. Toby isn't just another project for me. It is the accumulations of all the learnings I've had through all my different projects. All these learnings made me who I am today, what I know today, in a way school never could. So Toby is an AI-powered app that uses refined AI to build you a plan to learn anything you may want in 10-15 minutes a day with evidence-backed, research-backed, and gamified ways to learn what you want to learn. And this all didn't happen because I got smarter, but because I failed enough times to build better. So if there's one thing you should take away from this, it's that teen startups aren't about success. Teen startups are about identity, learning, and growth. They are growth labs, not money machines. School gives you the building blocks: reading, writing, thinking. But actually building something makes you decide on what shape you want to make with those blocks. Failure is actually helpful when it's allowed and expected. My first investor was my dad, which was rather very convenient because my due diligence was just a homemade dinner. But all jokes aside, you can't imagine how that helped me, not only monetary but emotionally, in enjoying and scaling that process. And this is where adults play the most important role. Parents, teachers, educators, this part is for you. Instead of asking, will this work? Ask, what is my child learning from this? Instead of prioritizing polish and outcomes, prioritize effort and evolution. We already invest in education through school. Now investing in a teenager's project is just another form of education. And in its own way, another type of school. One that teaches responsibility, resilience, and self-direction. When an adult fails at a startup, we call it experience. Now, when a teenager does the same thing, we often call it wasted time. That double standard is something we need to rethink. So I want to leave you all with one question. Not about startups, not about success, but about the future we wish to create. Who could teenagers become if we trusted the process instead of just the outcome? Thank you very much.